we talked like so seriously about like, hey man, you should like not listen to your emotions, right? But at the same time, like your emotions, how you feel if you're angry or whatever, that does nothing. If you've actually practiced gratitude, dude, but I want to do like a call to action for everyone that's watching this. Okay. I want you to write down in the comments right now 3 things that you are grateful for. And they don't have to be anything big. Like I'm grateful that I have this thing to hold my pens. I'm grateful that I have this, there's this little hedgehog with tape on it. I've never used it, but it's cute. It's like a cute little guy, little hedgehog guy. I'm grateful I have multiple batteries for my camera, so I can be a dumbass with ADHD and leave my camera on overnight, and I can go, and run down the battery, and then I can replace it, and then it doesn't fuck up my filming. I'm grateful for that. And so, like, when you practice gratitude and you're a very grateful person, you'll actually notice that, like, it's very easy to, even when you're in a bad mood, it's very easy to just like find fun and stuff. Like it's way easier to have like a positive attitude even when you feel bad. And that's like the one thing that, like, if you're in a terrible mood, choosing to be grateful for like 3 things and just outwardly be grateful for them and like really feel the gratitude, that makes you realize how temporary emotions are and like how you can just do anything, whether you feel good or not. Because like, even if I'm angry, I can still choose to acknowledge that I'm grateful for certain things in my life. Even if I feel sad, I can still choose to acknowledge that I'm grateful for, the relationships I have, or, the people I have, the clients I have. Like I can choose to be grateful for the business I have, what I get to do every day. I get to, you can always be grateful for something, no matter how you're feeling. And so if you actually practice gratitude, that's the one thing that is so powerful, because you can do like, because that's the thing that will propel you past feeling bad. Like when you have a bad night out or you feel bad on a night out, like if you're just grateful that, holy shit, I'm in a place where like, okay, if you're in a terrible mood, this is the best example. Like all of you motherfuckers watching this, first of all, should be grateful you have internet, right? And then second, you should be grateful that we live in a society where you can just go up and talk to people.
Yeah.
You can just go up and talk to people. Like it's uncomfortable, but it's an option. Like you can just go up, talk to people and meet new people whenever you want. That's the amazing thing to be grateful for.
And that's the funny thing too, is like when you say you can just go do shit despite how you're feeling. I can see how like some people will be like, oh, well, okay, I just have to feel like shit forever. It's like, no, when you actually do shit despite how you're feeling, you end up feeling better. Like imagine you wake up in a shitty mood. You're like, I'm going to go to the gym anyways. I don't feel like lifting weights. How do you actually feel after an hour of lifting weights? You're sweating, your heart's going. You're like, oh man, you like feel accomplished and you feel good because you moved your body. So you actually do take control of your feelings when you say, I'm just going to do shit despite how I'm feeling. It's not like you're going to feel like shit forever. Like that actually is how men feel good. We act despite how we feel.
But yeah, man, like you can be so grateful for so much. And I think gratitude is really like, that's the cheat code for like being grateful for the opportunities you have, and being able to be grateful, just having that opportunity is like, that's the cheat code to acting despite your emotions.
That's what else I was gonna say. I cured my morning anxiety over COVID by writing things that I was grateful for right when I woke up in the morning. I don't know how I stumbled across that. I think I just stumbled across a YouTube video where a guy was talking about how he was feeling like anxious and down all the time. And then he just started listing things that he was grateful for. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to try doing this every single morning right when I get up. And I think maybe before I went to bed too, but that's when your mind is absorbing the most stuff, like right when you wake up and then right before you go to bed, because your subconscious is really active. But yeah, I noticed after like 3 weeks of writing down things that I was grateful for, like I was just like, all right, 10 minutes, as many things as possible. I'll just like fill a page with how many things that I'm grateful for. Instead of like being doomed for the rest of my life in this habit of waking up in anxiety and just like feeling it in my stomach, like, oh man, like feeling horrible when I woke up. I literally just got my brain in the habit of right when I get up, I start actually Because like if you do that for 3 weeks, if you actually take control and you're like, I'm going to write down things that I'm grateful for every morning, it after about 2, 3, 4 weeks, your brain will just start doing it automatically. Like you just start controlling your brain. It just starts doing it automatically.
You'll also start doing it throughout your day too. That's the most powerful thing. Like, dude, like imagine a world where like you guys are worried about like, oh, what if this girl doesn't like me? Like, imagine a world where you could go up to a girl, she rejects you, and you can be like, literally, your brain automatically, without thinking about it, will just be like, wow, I'm grateful that I got better from them. Like, your brain will just automatically do that. And that's the most amazing thing. That's the most beautiful thing about like building habits and like, you know, training yourself, training your brain to be like a machine that helps you get where you want to go. Like, your brain will just automatically, after long enough, like practicing gratitude, you'll just go, wow, I'm grateful I got rejected. And it won't even be like fake. It'll be real. It'll be like, wow, I'm really grateful that happened. Like, honestly, when we talk about our clients that like have struggled when they first come in, the guys that struggle, they're the ones that aren't grateful. And this is something I'm like kind of realizing now. Like, I didn't realize that this is kind of a common trend that's missing. But actually, all of our clients that have ever struggled, like when they first come in and start working with us, they only get success when they're grateful. And then when their gratitude goes away, they lose all the results. Like there was that one client that there was a client that we actually kicked out and like refunded him because it was such a nightmare to work with them. And he was really grateful for about 4 weeks in the middle. So like he was kind of ungrateful just about life in general. I'm not talking about us, like I don't really care, but about 2 weeks where he was like really stressed out and like, oh, I'm like not getting results or whatever. Then he started being like grateful. And then as soon as he started getting results, he was like, okay, I'm like really grateful for this. And then this girl like dumped him. And then he started getting like really butthurt and like causing problems again, and like being super emo all the time and sad. And it's like the only times he was actually getting results was when he was grateful. He was like genuinely grateful. And that's the thing that I think a lot of you guys can really practice. And that's something you can do on your own. Like, I think I might even make it a requirement. Like, if you want to get like our high paid coaching, like thousands of dollars coaching, like you got to be like a grateful person, because that's, or you have to be willing to change that about yourself as soon as you start coming in, because you have to be grateful. Because if you're not grateful for if you're not grateful for the fucking, what am I trying to say? If you're not grateful for the losses, if you can't be grateful for like actually losing, then you're going to be in a really tough spot. Like, because it's just going to feel like shit. You're gonna be like, oh, I feel bad. Yeah. I feel like I'm losing. All I'm doing is losing. All I'm doing is losing. When am I going to start winning? When am I going to start winning? It's like, dude, be fucking grateful. Be grateful for something.
With game, imagine it's like, you're like, fuck, I'm nervous. I don't want to go out. And then you like go out and you're like, okay, that's a win. You go up, you talk to a girl. Oh shit, I've never approached a girl before on the street. I approached her. And then the next time you like start a conversation with her, you last like 30 seconds. You're like, fuck, I can only.
It's not the only place I last 30 seconds, bro.
Oh,
got him, dude.
But yeah, then like you have like a minute-long conversation, you have a 2-minute-long conversation, and then like, you know, you're only able to have like a 30-minute conversation. But it's like, and okay, the guys that have the least success are guys that just want to get laid, that worship pussy, because they're not grateful for the fact that they can hold like a 2-minute conversation with a girl. They're not grateful for the fact that, like you said, you can just go outside and talk to somebody. Not grateful for the fact that you can get a girl's number. Not grateful for the fact that you could get a girl. Like, there's a lot of things that you can be grateful for. I guess like above getting pussy, which I guess is like, that's a different topic. But yeah, you have to take those losses where like the girl doesn't want to keep talking to you after 2 minutes, things get awkward, because those are the things that are actually going to help you learn and get pussy in the long run and get relationships in the long run. That's how you learn. That actually separates, well, that probably separates me and you from a guy on Facebook who constantly talks about how he can't do anything, because he'll go out and he'll approach a girl and he'll be like, oh fuck, I approached this girl, guess what happened, guys? I went out and she was like mean to me. She didn't even give me the time of day. She ignored me completely. And then we're like, well, I mean, geez, I approached like so many girls and just gave compliments, and they were like 2-second interactions before I was even able to keep a conversation going. And that
Yeah.
was like a win. That was like a win for me. So if you can like stack up those little wins and be grateful for the little wins and be grateful that a woman will even like make eye contact with you, then it's like, okay, you can look at those wins and then you can learn from the failures of like, okay, I couldn't keep the conversation going. But that I'm glad I learned a little bit about what I need to do because I fucked it up by saying this dumb thing or I didn't lead the conversation or whatever. So now here's what I need to do. It's like you literally, everything's a win. Like you either get somewhere or you learn
Yeah.
from your failures and
Yeah.
you can be grateful for anything.
Yeah. And the only way that, like, for any of you guys watching, the only way that things are gonna, like, you're actually gonna feel like you're making progress is to actively be grateful. Cause like, okay, when you're not a grateful person, if you haven't, and I guess honestly that this probably is I wow, this is crazy. I'm kind of having like a crazy realization here about like how important gratitude is. Because there's basically two parts of getting good with women. There's one, like the ability to take action at all. And then there's the skills, like actually implementing the skills and practicing those skills. Those are like the two things that matter. And like honestly, most guys, like they just suck at taking action. They suck at it. And the reason that you can take action is because, I mean, if you're grateful, it's way easier to, like, it actually makes sense to say, yeah, this girl talked to me for 2 seconds and that's a win. But dude, if you're not a grateful person, it makes no sense. You're like, wait, how does that make sense? How does it make sense that, like, but I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to go further than that. So why was it a win? That's a loss. That sucks. And like, so the same thought can feel like coping if you're not grateful. Like you have to be very grateful, just as a man in general. Like you have to do it. It's so important. So yeah, I'm glad that so many people said like what they're grateful for. That's pretty cool.